The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We are back here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouthwatering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. Time to talk Smyrna boys basketball. Omar Smith joins us here this morning. Coach, how are things?
Going well. Enjoying a little holiday basketball right now.
Yeah. We talk about the holidays and, getting 2 weeks off at Christmas and all this kind of stuff. But basketball coaches and players don't get much.
Yeah, that's not a thing for us. Yesterday everybody was getting ready to leave school, and I had a lady ask, what are you doing for the break? And I said, well, I don't get a break. We're going to play, and then, we'll, get a little bit of a break, and then we'll play again beginning of January, and then we're right back at school. So not much of a break.
Yeah. That's just what you sign up for as a basketball coach.
Exactly.
You guys have been on quite the little streak here. Won several basketball games in a row over McGavock, Overton, Riverdale, and Valor before the last couple of days, some close games and 2 or 3 possessions against Lead Academy and Union County, Kentucky in that Southern Bank battle.
Yeah, the Lead Academy game, we played them this summer at team camp, so we knew what they had, and it's funny, the game kind of started the same way it did this summer. We jump on them, and we just kind of lost our focus, and they've got some good players over there, and so we kind of struggled to fight through that. And then of course last night up here we tournament games are a little tricky when you go out of town. You're seeing different reps in a different environment. And so we kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball to start the game. We got a technical for, dunking in the layup line. And so, of course, they hit both free throws and they come out and they score something. We're down 4-0 before we even touch the basketball. And I think it kind of shocked our guys a little bit. And it took them a while to get started. And, once they woke up, they made it the game. I think we got it down to 3 at one point and just couldn't quite get over that hump.
Where is this tournament or classic that you're in being played?
So the tournament is actually, to give you an idea, it's in Elkton, Kentucky.
Oh. But
to give you an idea, we're staying in Clarksville.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's a 20-minute drive from our hotel to the school.
Yeah, it's Elkton's not that far over the county line, so
yeah, they just don't have any hotels in Elkton.
Yeah, that is true. I said county line, state line, obviously, but those are also opportunities that you as coaches kind of use to do a little team bonding and that kind of thing. So it's a good experience for the kids.
Oh yeah, of course the guys all bring their PlayStations and their Xboxes, and so they have little basketball tournaments going on, and then we'll, we went and ate breakfast this morning downstairs, and, after our first game today, we'll go have a little late lunch together and just hang out before our last game before we're heading back home.
Now, do you play 2 games today?
So we'll have 2 games today. So we've got Russellville today at 11:30, and then depending on, win or lose and all that, we'll play either Fort Campbell or, Montgomery Central. So we'll play one of those 2 as well.
Gotcha. And that'll wrap up your before Christmas. And after Christmas, are you in some kind of New Year's deal too?
Yeah, so after Christmas, we're going down to Ray County. We've got Livingston Academy down there, Tellico Plains, and Ray County. I guess it's like a pool play type thing because there's a possible championship game as well, but I'm assuming that's depending on how your first 3 games go. So we could play 4 games down there also.
I got you. So that has become kind of popular when putting on tournaments or classics. The downfall of tournaments is maybe you don't get as many games. Classics, right. You get so many guaranteed. But now this, a hybrid, if you will, with, like a tournament does kind of create a lot of interest. Right.
Like I said, it's something different. You got to talk to people who've got kids that play baseball and softball, and they do those little pool play things, and you have a championship on Sunday, so it's that kind of deal. But Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Just, again, for us getting to get out of Middle Tennessee and see some different teams and different styles, different officiating, different atmospheres. I think that's a very, very big plus for us to do that.
We're talking Smyrna boys basketball. Omar Smith joining us here this morning. And, Coach, you kind of give us an idea, because tournaments and classics and Hall of Fame and all of that kind of thing, you have a certain number of games in a season that you can play. Does this, and I know this is the case in baseball and softball, for instance, but tournaments and classics, do you get a certain number? How does that count against the number of games you play, and et cetera?
So basically, a tournament counts as 2 games. So regardless of how many, so even though we're playing 2 games today, or 3 games over this weekend, it technically counts as 2 games towards our allotted amount of games we can play. So, you can see, I think Ray County, for example, last year they played about 35 games. They played in different classics and tournaments.
It's it's kind of interesting, and that's some of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on in the spring, I guess, when you're putting together your schedule for the next year.
Oh yeah, so you got to sit down and you write down your district games, because obviously those have to be played, and then you start subtracting it from that point, and then you just go from there.
Yeah. So also in that same vein, when you're kind of talking about putting together a schedule, when do you put that together? Is it like March, April?
So, funny story. You asked that. People know that my background had been middle school.
Uh-huh.
So when I was at Rockville, we would have to wait for the county to send us the county schedule, and we'd get that around mid to late April. And so it's funny. I remember at the end of my first season here at Smyrna, Coach Birdwell was actually the first person to reach out to me. We lost to Blackman on a Saturday in the region tournament. And I walk into school Monday morning, and Coach Bird was emailing me about playing the next year. So I was like, okay, this is pretty quickly. I don't have time to wait. And so, it comes as soon as we're done. Teams are already emailing and calling about scheduling the next year. So it's pretty quickly. Our schedule is normally done for the most part by spring break each year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it would be pretty early, and I guess a couple of things that made me think about that. One is next year you'll have even more non-district games to plan for.
We're going to have a lot. We were talking to Coach Wordman and Coach Voss and Rutland. We were having that discussion and trying to figure out what that's going to look like, because, like I said, that district schedule is going to be so small. We're going to have to find a lot of games. And so hopefully we can get something set up with, everybody in the counties playing each other at least once. And I think that'll help and take away some of that stress of having to schedule all those games.
Yeah, certainly will. The other that I wanted to ask you about, too, is sometimes you go to a tournament or a classic and you don't return. Maybe it becomes a tradition, that you go every year. So yeah. I guess you're always looking for experiences like that, and maybe every 2 years you take, an out-of-state trip or things like that. Is that kind of your philosophy on putting that together?
Yeah, I kind of like for the guys to see, one of the things people, it seems like all the kids in Rutherford County know each other. They see each other all the time. They play AAU together. And so for me, I like for them to go somewhere else and just, see something different and see guys you've never seen before, and, playing in different atmospheres. And so you come to Kentucky and it just looks different than being in Tennessee. Even, where we played last night, it's a smaller school, but, you can see the community involvement and how everybody in the community is there. And so having our guys get to see that type of thing is I think it's just good to see something different.
Yeah. And I'm trying to tie a lot of this together, and there's kind of a rhyme or reason to it. When you go to support the Smyrna Bulldogs, for instance, on a Tuesday or a Friday night, and you buy your ticket and all that kind of thing, that's what gives these guys this type of experience, because, it's very important to be able to try to do these things, but it also costs money to do those. So,
for sure, you're paying for, 4, 5, 6 hotel rooms. You're paying for a bus, a meal or two where the guys are not having to pay for it out of pocket. So, yeah, fundraising is a big thing. And, of course, like you said, the more people we can get at the games and get those gates up, that's definitely a big deal for sure.
And hence the reason you want to play teams that maybe aren't in your district, especially next year when you still have some in-county, because you're going to draw from in-county maybe better than you're going to draw playing in Overton out of Nashville, for instance.
Right. And I've had that conversation as well. You know, some of those, we'll probably pull back on some of those games against those metro teams just because you don't have those crowds. Whereas, you know, if we're hosting the Riverdale or hosting the Blackman, you know, not only those parents are going to come, the kids are going to come as well because, again, they all know each other. They play other sports against each other, and they're related or, you know, whatever the case may be. And so there's a little bit more interest in those games. So, yeah, it's something we'll definitely look at for next year.
Omar, I got really philosophical on you, and I didn't mean to this morning, but it's kind of interesting. I did want to point out Jan Kinzer has really been coming on strong for you. He had 20 in the win over Riverdale, 27, and 7 rebounds in the win over Valor. And, gosh, he had, 16, I think, and then 21. So he's in the high teens or 20s there for you.
He is. He's one of the kids. I told the guys last night, you know, if you all want to figure out what consistency looks like, you look at him. He's the type of kid. He's got a really high GPA. The kid, you know, we don't have issues in the hallways with him. I think he goes to work. He's just a very consistent kid, and he's always thinking about, you know, he's thinking ahead. And, you know, he's already starting to talk about what college is going to look like and, you know, whether or not he's playing basketball and how that's going to work out. He's just, you know, he's a very mature kid. He's always has been, and now it's starting to come to fruition for him, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's probably also really good for the rest of your players to see, and some of those underclassmen, and you know, to know that hard work does pay off.
Yeah, I mean, and even to the point, I mean, little things like this morning, I told the guys to be downstairs for breakfast at 8:15. He beat me downstairs. So, just little things. I always give them examples of people like Arion Carter, who they've seen. And so now he's just another kid that we'll just continue to use and have guys say, look at him. If you got questions, follow him, see what he does, and figure it out and go from there.
Pretty cool that Arion Carter is going to be playing tonight for a spot in the Final Four in the college playoffs. And just a really cool story there too. But Omar, I guess I'll let you hop off here. I want to wish you and the family and all the Smyrna folks a very Merry Christmas.
You have a Merry Christmas as well.
All right. Omar Smith joining us here this morning on the Coaches Show, which is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest, most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com.
Hi, I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor.